This is the greatest country on earth. Among our natural resources, an endless supply of idiots. They're everywhere. You don't even need to frack them. Here's a week's worth right here. First up, Liz Warren, otherwise known as Chief Spreading Bull. After years of being accused of lying about her Native American background, she decides to take a DNA test, creating a video around laughable results.
The president likes to call my mom a liar. What do the facts say?
The facts suggest that you
absolutely have a Native American ancestor in your pedigree.
Wow, that looked totally natural. If she got any stiffer, I'd check for the toe tag. Talk about a pale face. It's telling that they chose some Stanford academic to finesse these terrible results. They just knew they were about to paint a turd orange and call it sherbet. Because when the results arrived, it amounted to something between nearly zero and nearly zero. Like 0.09. If your IQ was 0.09, you would be granite. If they gave her a breathalyzer, she'd be over the legal limit of stupid. As a wise man once said, when it comes to Cherokee, she has more in common with the Jeep. Maybe she can be their spokesman. The slogan, unlike me, this Cherokee's not full of So think about what she pulled off. One law school directory listed her as Native American for 9 years. Harvard had her as Native American until 2004. She was called Harvard Law's first woman of color. And then there was the cookbook, Pow Wow Chow. Recipes from 5 Indian tribes. She listed herself as Cherokee. Yeah, and I'm Bjorn from ABBA. Actually, I did some research to find out who has more Native American blood than her. Here they are. Bjorn from ABBA. Agnetha from ABBA. And Afreed from ABBA. And the other guy from ABBA. Hard to believe. I actually did even more research to find out who has more Native American blood than her. Flipper. My office stapler. This helmet. So we spent a long time being lectured by left-wing a-holes about what not to wear on Halloween. Better not wear a sombrero, amigo. Hands off the headdress. Cultural appropriation is so evil. But by all means, says our leading libs, totally claim ownership of an entire culture and exploit it for political purposes. Seriously, hasn't Warren committed the biggest cultural appropriation sin ever? She stole who they are. Now, I can talk because I am 2% Native American. It's true. That's more Indian than she is, meaning I'm Native American. I know what I'm going as for Halloween. So, Could this be the end of identity politics? If DNA tests reveal that you contain the same amount of oppressed ancestry that Liz has, then you're oppressed too. If everyone's a minority, then nobody is. Except me. As you know, I did do my own DNA test on the 5, and then I made a video.
Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld. My ancestry is incredibly rich. Remember the Donner Party? That's my great-great-grandfather, Carl. He never went hungry. I'm proud of my family's roots, so I decided to take a DNA test. The results were fascinating. Turns out I'm 40.8% British and Irish, 9% Iberian, 2% Native American, and 20% Minotaur, and 20% giant sequoia. Yeah, one of my granddads had a thing for trees. I'm also 30% centaur, which explains why it's hard to get genes that fit. There's also a bit of sea serpent in there, about 90%. At this point, I know what you're thinking. That adds up to more than 100%. Well, it's 212.3% to be exact. How can that be? Well, I'll tell you. It's because I am Zlarg, the gargantuan devil beast that feasts on the souls of the dead. I am a being of infinite manifestations, fueled by a hell-bent thirst for human suffering. Bow before me,
or bear the wrath of my endless mutilations as I tear at the flesh of your naked, cowering loved ones.
Gutfeld 2020, paid for by the committee to elect Zlarg.
Don't applaud. Don't applaud that monstrosity. That was really unexpected. So anyway, the other idiot this week, the litigating lollipop Michael Avenatti. The dome dope had been using various victims to attract the spotlight for himself, but when he finally finds the spotlight, this happens. This week, the judge ruled in favor of Donald Trump in Stormy's defamation case against him and ordered that she pay Trump's legal fees. This was the judge's way of telling Stormy that her lawyer is giving lawyers a bad name. Think about that. She's a porn star, and her lawyer's so bad, suddenly her career looks respectable. She used to get paid to screw people. Avenatti just screwed her, and she has to pay him. He is to lawyers what Liz Warren is to Indians, an embarrassment. So it's really been a week of backfiring. Everything blew up in their faces. The DNA test exposes Warren as 0.0 Indian. The judge exposes Avenatti as 100% bozo. Meanwhile, the U.S. regains its spot as the #1 competitive economy in the world, and U.S. job openings hit a record 7.1 million, exceeding the number of unemployed Americans. Pretty soon, you're going to need a DNA test to prove you're an unemployed American. That's pretty good for Trump, but it may not be good enough for Liz Warren and Avenatti. There may be 7 million job openings, but we still have at least 2 more idiots than we need. Yes. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's the prescription for your affliction. Host of the radio show Dr. Drew Midday Live, Dr. Drew Pinsky. He split more sides than a butcher on meth. Comedian Jimmy Fallon. I'm not used to that jacket. She's the pinnacle of cynical. National Review reporter Kat Timpf. And he always has his head in the clouds, literally. Former WWE superstar, my massive sidekick, Tyrus. Dr. Drew, you're a doctor. What did Senator Warren accidentally do to herself this week?
Other than shoot herself in the foot?
Yes.
You know, I found on my radio program, I had a number of Native Americans call us and say each tribe determined its own criteria for heritage, right? Mm-hmm. And it's usually between 1/8 and 1/16. But for Cherokee particularly, you have to register with the Indian Affairs Department, and you have to be able to show your heritage back to a given individual in order to call yourself Cherokee. And they were deeply offended by this. Mm-hmm. Deeply offended. Talk about... As you say, appropriation. It was the ultimate appropriation.
Yeah, she tried to steal their identity. It's, Jimmy, it's an outrage.
Yes, not as outrageous as this jacket.
I know, I'm trying to think, did you buy that at Chess King or Merry-Go-Round?
This is my oldest guy in the boy band look.
Okay.
I look like the guy they won't fire because I can buy them beer after the show.
Yes.
What do you call the boots?
They do come in men's, if you wonder. But
Terry Shepard would love those.
I know, she'd be a fan. I actually do think she disqualified herself.
Right.
The reason I say that is not because of anything Trump's going to do, but because of what her own party is going to do in the primaries. Mm-hmm. Nobody's tougher on you when you screw up than your friends. You know what I mean? So, like the time you said you were a Native American, like, she's never going to live this down for the rest of her life.
And then you know who's going to go after her? I mean, Joe Biden must be he must be pleased as punch. Kamala Harris.
Oh, thrilled.
Cory Booker.
Yeah.
She's gone. I don't think there's any way she can come back from
And you want to know why she should go away? It's not because she lied. It's because she outed herself as dumb.
Yeah.
Anyone who thought this was acceptable proof based on the results,
let her do
this
that.
is like telling someone you have a really hot girlfriend, but the only picture in your wallet is clearly from a magazine ad.
Hey, you know what? I only did that once. Kat, for your birthday, you are going to be showing up in a coffin.
Yeah.
So you are appropriating the lifestyle of the dead. You're as bad as she is.
Well, I think she's
I'm dead on the
she's bad.
I'm dead on the inside.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So this story, I mean, I was around my apartment earlier
Yes.
this week. Shocking, I
Yes.
know. And I was thinking, the only friend that I have that lives close to me anywhere in this city is a cat.
Yes,
Right?
of course.
Like, I wake up, there's the cat.
Right.
You know? During the day, there's the cat. I go to bed, there's the cat.
Cat feels the
So
same way.
if Liz Warren is 1,1024th Native American, I've got to be at least 1,1024th cat.
Yes, that's true.
Just your name alone makes you
Based on
that.
yes,
Yeah,
based
just your
on the
name.
time that I spend around the cat. And if you don't think that cat-human culture is a thing, it is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
We walk around with clothes covered in it, like people don't notice.
No, I notice.
We buy frozen meals for one.
Yes.
We own wine stoppers.
Yes.
But, like, who are we kidding?
I know, that's true. That's true. Wishful thinking. Tyrus, where do we go with this?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I checked out when the green dude showed up. You have lost your damn mind.
Zlarg? Are you talking about Zlarg?
Larg, yeah, that was. Just damn, man. Like, what the hell? Like, don't start eating people, because I can't handle that. Don't Dahmer on me.
I can safely say I probably didn't write that sober.
Yeah. Listen, these are these days that I'm so happy I didn't have grandparents. Because it was her lying-ass grandparents who got her in this mess. Especially, everyone's got your great-grandfather was a chief Cherokee Indian. How many people have heard that damn lying-ass story in their childhood? Like, everybody says the same thing. And just one. I know how white people are. It can only be one.
Yes.
More than two, you're out the game. But there's always that one. And she believed Papa or whatever weird nickname she had for Grandpa who told her that drunk-ass lying story. So much so that I'm pretty sure her team was like, this is not a good idea. No. My grandfather told me it is true.
Yes.
And now we have to deal with, not only is she not Native American, which I kind of think she already really knew.
Yeah.
Because no one ever, made jokes. There was no teases going on or anything like that.
Right.
But now she has to face the President of the United States of America.
Yes.
Every time they're in the hallway, he's going to be like, hey, stop. Ow. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, whoever let her put that up must be the same person let you put the Zlarg video up.
No.
You know what is amazing, though? It's Saturday night, and right now she's home shocked that she didn't win the Mega Millions because she thinks 1 in 302 million is good chance.
Let's end on that great joke.